Okay, how do we move from chaos to formal? Organisation. Talking. Planning. Delegation. All of which is part of the leader being out the front, being fairly directive. Bob's been thinking about this. I think Bob knows what he needs to get done and how he's going to do it. Is that right, Bob? He's done his appreciation in the back of a cigarette packet. All right? Wasn't very complicated. As he said over there, we've got to make a stretcher, we've got to put a casualty on a stretcher, we've got to get him over there to the helicopter pad on top of that hill. That's what we've got to do. Right, we all know that. That was basically over there, a warning order. All right, and our aim is what? To get him over there, get the casualty. The aim is to evacuate the casualty to the landing zone. That's the aim, isn't it? We've all got that one. Okay. The how of doing all of that is now up to Bob.
Better slide him in the middle of the stretcher.
Slide him in the middle, hands under.
1, 2, 3.
He's had breakfast. And nice and slowly, keeping it level.
How do we move a team from chaos to being a skilled team? So we looked at those and actually did some activities which showed it rather than putting it on a whiteboard. And so they really got it from an experiential base. And then they've been talking about how to solve problems and brief the solutions.
You'll go and hike and swing a bit.
Find that people will respond to a challenge as long as they're organised. They don't want a challenge when they're disorganised. In a state of chaos, that just becomes a major bloody stuff up, and then people won't appreciate that at all. But when I'm teaching about chaos, formal and skill, I'm simply giving you tools to be a better serving leader, because that's what men of courage and honour are.
Get everyone and treat everyone like an idiot.
You know, already we're seeing people exuding leadership qualities that you may not see on a work site often, but they're doing it here now, and my hope is that they'll go back to work next week and actually apply them on the job, and the outcome being that the jobs will run smoother and they'll have a happier, better life. Yeah.
My first statement is, gentlemen, situation. Whackety, 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 whack. What's my second heading? Mission. Our mission is to enjoy bushwalk. What's my next heading? Execution. Where this helps is when Lauren loses a page in his notebook, he knows what part of SMEAC he's up to, and it's in his head anyway. The notebook could have been burnt on him there, but if he knows that he's on coordinating instructions under execution, it rattles. He said, "Yeah, no, there were timings. That's right. What were the timings again?" And it'll come out.
We're at Rod Rose Farm. 5 people are going for a hike. There are major spurs and numerous tracks in the area, so we must not separate, keep together. And then we'll hike on down to Eagle Nest, checkpoint 30. We'll climb up Eagle Nest and we'll camp there the night.
And this afternoon we're practicing that very thing. They're going around being set problems and they're having to assess the problems, work out the solutions, brief the solution, achieve the solution, and then be debriefed by their peers about their communication skills, their leadership traits, and those sort of things.
Keep going back. That is Dave, and just hand Dave the rope and maintain it. So now we've got the square so the helicopter can land.
Pull off your blindfolds, look at how big your square is, and look at where you're positioned. You didn't deliver an oral presentation outlining the execution. You had people up and moving, putting tea towels on their heads while they're supposed to be listening to you. Yeah? So all of a sudden you went ad lib, and it all fell apart.
It says read your bearing here. Okay, so on here it says we're at 62. Now because of the change in variation, you've got to subtract 12.
And we had practical exercises such as a bushwalk with map and compass, with checkpoints where they had activities to test their learning. It was all solid practical stuff.
Welcome, gents. Ready to roll, eh?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. How far is your first leg?
We've got 110 metres.
How many paces do you
That's 121 paces. 121 paces.
The key to also, I think, is the fact this environment is an unfamiliar environment for most of them, which meant that the brain switches on. If you sit them down in a comfortable room with iced water and minties, it's too comfortable in a way, and the brain tends to switch off. The navigation exercise was really about taking on something that was outside that with which they were familiar. And as I pointed out to them, in many cases, technology moves on at such a pace in all industries that the experienced foreman sometimes has to say, well, I'm going to have to do something with which I'm totally inexperienced. How do you do that? How do you stay on top of all the change and technology that's going out there? One is overcome your fear. B is have experience in having to do it, which is what they did this morning, in that they got a program, text and a map, learn how to navigate. They got the task of navigating around the bush, and when they came to each checkpoint, they were then tested in leadership skills. So it was a vehicle to teach them two things: how to be innovative in their thinking and be able to move into new areas of learning. So it was a how to learn exercise, while at the same time confirming leadership skills that they've picked up yesterday. The big difference is that this was very practical. Of course there's some theory involved, but even the theory was delivered in a way like with program texts and so on, so that they actually had to, instead of sitting down and listening to somebody with a whiteboard, they actually had to get involved in the process, answer questions, and compare those to answer sheets and so on, so that they actually had to work at getting the information. Use it. It's the only way you're going to remember it, and the only way you're going to be able to keep it going and develop it. It's one of the key reasons why you've got a Bush Venture book. Please use it.
You know, the sort of passion that you put into it, I think, has made it successful for us, and I think it's rubbed off on each and every one of us right from the start. You know, we've really felt that this is something worthwhile, something worth doing, and I think everyone's really dug in and got in. So I think a round of applause for
Thank you. Thanks, fellas. Take care, eh?
Bobby, sunglasses.
Thank you. Thanks, lads.
I think John's really nailed our requirements. We're looking to develop our site supervisors and their leadership skills, and I think we spent a big day yesterday really going over those same sort of the attributes and lessons that you need for leadership. And then this morning all the guys were set a really challenging task, and they really had to dig deep and go back to those sort of principles that we've learned over the last sort of day and a half. So yeah, it's been great. And I think the other part of it was just to get out together as a group of people and have an enjoyable time together, which is what we've done this weekend. I spoke to each of my guys individually today, and not one of them had anything but positives to say. I think John, from our point of view, absolutely nailed it. There's absolutely no doubt. Our guys were committed, interested, involved, and that's a tribute to the quality of the program that's been established for us.
David Trine, Project Manager. It'll help me work with people better, I believe. Communicate.
My name is Terence Watson, I'm a site manager.
And Terence, can you tell me what have you learned out of the camp?
All the different processes and all the different planning principles, which I think will greatly help me in my job. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, being taken out of the comfort zone basically.